Hello, everybody. Today is August 8th, and today I'm going to be going over Trump signs the executive orders. So I'm going to be reading it. I haven't done any research on it, so let's see how this goes. CNN. President Donald Trump signed four executive orders on Saturday, one which will provide as much as $400 enhanced unemployment benefits, 25% of which states are being asked to cover after Democrats in the White House were unable to reach an agreement on a coronavirus stimulus relief bill this week. Okay, so now people are receiving $400 instead of $600 supposedly. Like, we don't know for sure. It could always go up back up to 600. We don't know, but $400. Why would people want to return back to work? Even if you're making $200 less, that's still a lot of money. When you think about it like this, right? If someone makes $10 an hour as a janitor and he only makes 400 a week before taxes, well, he's still making more if he were on unemployment, right? Because he'd be receiving the $400 enhanced unemployment benefit, and then half of 400, which is 200. So he'd be receiving like $600 before taxes. So, you know, I don't see how this is going to get people back to work. This is good because people do really need the unemployment money. And they lost their jobs, or they're furloughed, or their business were forced to shut down on no fault of their own. So it's good that they did this. But, for me, for example, I'm an essential employee. So, if I were to receive hazard pay of $10,000 that they are proposed, that's retroactively paid since January 27th. Again, if it's capped at 10,000 and it's $13 per hour since January 27th, it already capped out late May, early June, and I've worked more than 40 hours per week because nobody wants to go back to work. I've been working more hours than 40 hours per week, so it's probably capped out earlier. I'm just gonna take that lump sum of $10,000 from hazard pay, and then I'm gonna find a reason to file for unemployment. I'm gonna make more money at home while doing whatever I want. I could self-improve, work on my side business, work on my investments, go back to school, finish school, focus on my mental health, enjoy my time for once, because I don't know, my mental health is declining because I've been working harder than ever, and I won't have to risk myself being exposed to the C virus. So yeah. Trump said $300, 75% of the enhanced aid will come from the federal government, and $100, 25% will therefore have to come from the other states. Since governors would have to pay that $100 for people to get the full benefit, it is not clear how many of those unemployed would be able to receive the full $400 benefit. But when asked about the president's executive order asking states to pay 25% of 400 unemployment relief, an official from a northeastern state run by a Democratic governor laughed. "We don't have that money," the official said. This official went on to say that they were not given any heads up on the executive order, and that in the wake of the pandemic, their funds are completely tapped. Governors like Larry Hogan of Maryland, a Republican, and Andrew Cuomo of New York, a Democrat, have been pleading for more federal funding. Democrats had demanded more money for state and local governments in the stimulus talks. On a private call of the GOP senators on Friday, Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin, and the White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows said they believe that those demands had become the biggest sticking point over a deal, multiple sources told CNN. When asked about a reporter on Saturday why $400 instead of the previous $600, Trump responded, "This is the money they need. This is the money they want. This gives them a great incentive to go back to work." It actually doesn't. Well, actually, it might. It might, because it varies on the amount you make. Well, like, let's pretend. Okay, so if you times 20 by 40, right? If you make $20, if you get paid $20 an hour and you work 40 hours a week, that's $800 a week, right? But if you file for unemployment, well, let's see, you'd make $400 a week with the additional from $400 a week from the unemployment, and then $400 from the unemployment. So that's, yeah, $400 from 50% of your wages, and then $400 from the CARES Act. So that's $800. Yeah, there we go. So like that seems like $20 seems like the threshold, like right there. Like anyone who makes more from that doesn't benefit. Anyone who makes less than that benefits. Well played, Trump. Well played. He went to say There was difficulty with the 600 number because it was really disincentive. Trump administration officials had maintained some people receiving the original 600 extra benefit would not have an incentive to return to work because they were making more of unemployment aid than they did in their salary. Democrats strongly disagree with that contention. Trump said he believes that the unemployment will be rapidly distributed, even though there are potentially challenges over legality of his executive action. Democrats are likely to challenge the executive actions in court. Trump first laid out the executive orders as he hastily called news conference Friday at his New Jersey golf club, where he said he wasn't concerned about the legality of the actions he promised. Trump also said Saturday his administration was looking at additional income tax, capital gains tax for American taxpayers, besides the payroll tax holiday being instituted by executive order. Okay, so if you make $20 an hour, basically that's where it cuts off. Like that's where it stops becoming financially beneficial. But what about all the free time that you had on unemployment? If you have all this time on free, if you have all this free time and you're making the same amount you would at work, well, why would you want to go back to work still? Because if you're a college student, I know a lot of people who are not even college students. They're younger than college students. They work part time at like a Baskin Robbins or something, and now they're filing for unemployment and making more than me and a lot of other essential employees, and they're working part time. But because you're part time, you're still eligible for the unemployment. And I know people who are double dipping in it, where they still have a job, they just work less hours. So they're double dipping with their income from that job, 50% of their wages, and then the unemployment money. And then I also know some people who could go back to work, choose not to because of financial gains for staying at home, and then they're working under the table for cash. So they're making cash under the table, they're getting that unemployment, and then they're using that free additional time to do whatever they want. It's a big mess. Essential employees have still got screwed over. But yeah, I think it's good. But still, Trump, you'd have to think about it like this. If I had a choice between making 800 at home or making 800 at work, I would rather make 800 at home and do whatever I want to do and not risk my health. Trump also said Saturday his administration was looking at additional income tax and capital gains tax. Okay. We are going to be looking at capital gains for the purpose of creating jobs, and income taxes is self-explanatory. And it will be income tax for middle income and lower income people, but middle income people who pay a lot more income tax, you have tax inequality. I'm saying that as a Republican, and you do have the tax inequality, Trump says. He did not provide any further details. The story has been updated for additional developments. Interesting. Well, that still doesn't fix the problem, really, but, it's good. I don't know, man.